What is a seller's disclosure? Stay tuned and learn what it is and why it's so important.
Hey, it's Melodie Watts
And Dona James
with EXP Realty here in beautiful Rockwall, Texas. It's Make a Move Monday, and every Monday we get you one step closer to your next move by giving you the best tips and tricks to buying or selling your home.
Hey Melodie, what is a seller's disclosure?
Well, in most residential sales, sellers are required by Texas law to provide information about the condition of the property to the buyer. This protects the sellers as it can reduce their risk of being sued, and it also protects the buyer as it provides a more complete picture of the property in advance. So for example, let's just say that a buyer takes possession of a home and immediately starts, renovating it and tearing open the walls or looking under the floors and discovers a problem that really should have been disclosed by the seller but wasn't. That buyer can go after the seller after the property's been closed and sue them for non-disclosure. So we want to make sure that we don't have that happen.
Right. The Texas Property Code requires sellers to notify the buyer of material defects in the property. This includes such things as deficiencies in appliances, flooring, fencing, foundation, the roof, windows, termite damage, past water-related damage, pretty much all material defects. It also includes an opportunity to disclose unplatted easements, flood zones, past insurance claims, and lawsuits and legal proceedings such as divorce, bankruptcy, foreclosures, those type of things that would hinder the closing of the property. Any condition which affects the health and safety of an individual should be on there as well.
Disclosing these legal issues are important because it could affect the ability to close on the sale of your home in a timely manner. To ensure that you're properly disclosing, your realtor will provide you with the appropriate documentation to ensure you comply with state law. If you're trying to sell your property without a realtor, make sure that you contact us so we can give you the right documents. Otherwise, you put yourself at risk for a lawsuit by not properly disclosing all the required information.
A seller is not required to disclose whether deaths on the property that resulted from natural causes, suicide, or accident unrelated to the property's condition have occurred. A seller does not need to disclose if a sex offender lives nearby or whether a previous occupant had an HIV-related illness. However, a seller might want to voluntarily disclose such information since a buyer may learn that information from another source, such as asking the neighbors.
It's best to make the seller's disclosure available to everyone looking at your property. However, if you have an executed contract and you haven't provided the buyer with the seller's disclosure yet, your contract will specify how many days that you have to provide that notice. It's important to know that the buyer can terminate the contract for any reason within 7 days after you give them the notice. For that reason, it's really smart to provide it in advance to minimize those chances of termination.
You may be wondering if there are instances when a seller's disclosure is not required. These are exceptions. When an individual is buying a foreclosed property, when you're transferring ownership from one co-owner to one or more other co-owners, when you're transferring property to your spouse or descendants, when you're buying new construction, when you're selling land with a home where the home's value does not exceed 5% of the sales price.
So sellers who have never lived in the property are still required to provide a seller's disclosure. So that means investors, flippers, even relocation companies are still required to disclose.
As you can see, the seller's disclosure notice is a great tool for both buyers and sellers. If you have questions about something on the disclosure, your agent can help you understand what information is needed. The main thing to remember is disclose, disclose, disclose. It's always better to disclose information than not to disclose. Disclosure prevents problems before and after the sale of a home.
That's it for now. Stay tuned next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.